Hello everyone. Well, I've been busy in the AT Skunk Works for the last couple of weeks putting something together that I hope you'll enjoy today. I think today I am throwing down the first stone in what I'm referring to as the AT Arms Race. It's a beautiful summer day, and what better to do on a summer day than squirt guns. It's been a project of mine I've been thinking of for a while to try to figure out a way to help Jay participate in your neighborhood squirt gun battles. And so today, we're going to go ahead and walk you through that. Let's take a look at the gun I chose and how I adapted it. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual gun I purchased, the water gun I purchased. It's one of the Nerf guns. It's called the Super Soaker Thunderstorm. Here's how I picked it out. First of all, I saw it said full auto soakage, and that it took batteries. That's a good hint. It has this thing that Nerf calls the power soak technology, and when I flip the box over, they kind of describe the power soak technology down here as being full auto, no pumping, pull the trigger and soak. So that tells me that it is in fact battery powered, and I can go ahead and switch adapt it, because after all, the trigger mechanism on these things that runs the pump is essentially a switch. So let me go ahead and take the battery compartment out, and I've got this thing unscrewed, so let me go ahead and start taking it apart a little bit here and there. Let me take the clip out. Try to use one-handed. Okay, and turn it over. Okay, now let me see, here's second highest spray in the house. So let me walk you through sort of what I've done. So when I take it apart, be careful, there's a couple of small pieces. The screws came out pretty easy. Nerf is good about that. I think they realize they have a whole community of Nerf modders that like to take their guns apart and reshape them. But if you look, here's the trigger. It's just a spring that keeps the trigger forward, and you pull it back. And all the trigger does is right here, this piece slides up to here and pushes this button down. Right, there's a little button there. This little plastic piece pivots and pushes that button down, and that engages the motor, which is in the pump, and pumps the water out. And you add these red and black wire running between that button and the power pack and the motor. Now originally what I wanted to do was put Jay's switch in parallel with this button, meaning you can operate it either with the trigger or with Jay's switch. Unfortunately, the leads for this button are hidden underneath this piece, and I can't get to it. So what I did instead was put Jay's switch in parallel, or in series, meaning I took this black wire, take the trigger assembly out. There we go. I took the black wire, right, and I cut it here and connected a second one of my own wires. I soldered it, taped it down to be safe, connected the other one, soldered it, taped it down, ran it out, drilled a hole in the bottom, very small hole in the bottom to run the wires out, and then I have this female phone jack piece, which, see if I can do this one-handed, which then the wires, I connect the wires to there. I'm really sorry about this focus. I thought this flip would focus better. Okay. And then that puts the switch in series with the trigger, which means for the gun to fire, both this button needs to be depressed, which is depressed with the trigger pulled, and Jay's switch will need to be pressed. So what I'm going to do when I put everything back together, I will tape the trigger down. I will put the trigger in here, and I will tape the trigger into the back position. And then the trigger will always be depressed, and then Jay can go ahead and press the switch to fire the gun. So let me put this back together. Okay, so here it is all back together again. As you can see, I got the switch port coming out the bottom here, connected to Jay's one of Jay's switches, and this happens to be one of Jay's continuous switches. So as long as Jay presses the button, the gun will fire. I got the trigger taped back using some electrician's tape, and while I was in there, I actually took the spring out of the trigger mechanism, so it's a little bit easier to tape back. And just as a note, I had a little bit of trick with it being a little inconsistent in firing, and I found out that for some reason the batteries weren't seated in there very well, so I just taped a little spacer in there to make sure that the batteries are really pressed against the contacts, and it works great. There is one more change that I have done to Jay's. Let me just grab that real quick. So to help even the odds a little bit, I replaced the regular magazine with this high capacity sort of pseudo drum magazine that holds a full liter of water. And so now Jay's ready to participate in the local squirt gun battles, and I think the neighborhood kids will have to watch out for Jay with this armament. So good luck with your own tinkering. I'd be interested to hear if anybody else has any other ideas for helping our kiddos participate in squirt gun battles, and I look forward to hearing what projects you're doing. So thank you, and until next time.